All right, everyone, welcome back to Tech Talk with Dan Harley. I am Dan Harley. This is Tech Talk episode number 97, Practical SEO for Small Businesses, recorded on July 11th, 2017. The topic of this episode is probably the most asked of all things asked of me for technology-wise, probably because that's essentially what I do for the most part, is do SEO. And also this is what most everybody thinks the internet marketing is SEO. Search engine optimization, search engine marketing. So I'm going to spend some time in this episode kind of breaking all this down, and so you folks out there can better understand what's happening here. I'm going to go over my so-called secret strategy on how to get small businesses top rank in the search engines. And so if you're looking to journey a steady stream of new customers, if you want to expand your area of operation, if you're wanting to maximize the effort of your advertising dollars, if you want to be on top of the search engines, then you will want to spend a few minutes listening to this episode, watching this episode here. So, a little recap: episode number 96, how technology has changed developing countries. It's been a few weeks since I've done an episode, and a lot of it's because my father-in-law passed away a few weeks ago, and my wife is back in Hanoi, Vietnam, and this is kind of a reminiscence of basically our initial part of our relationship. We've been 12 years since we met, and almost 11 years married, and our first year we essentially dated on Skype. So I'm going to talk in that episode about how things have changed since then, and how the technology has evolved the developing countries such as Vietnam. So anyway, before we get going, let's get a few announcements here. Thanks for listening and watching. My audience keeps on growing and growing, and I very much appreciate that. I keep on doing these episodes of Tech Talk and helping folks out there because of you folks out there, your input. So very much appreciate you folks doing this for me. Also, you've also helped me get a new sponsor, which is Carbonite. We're going to talk about those folks in a little bit here. If you're listening on iTunes or an Android podcast directory, make sure you rate my show and submit a review. And I really appreciate it because it helps my show grow, my audience grow over there. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment, some questions, some kudos there. If you see this on Facebook, then please like my page to get the latest information and also be notified of when I will do my next Tech Talk live broadcast. Now, if you need to find me or the podcast show or the YouTube channel or the Facebook page, you can find it really quick at primeconcepts.net. That's primeconcepts.net. You'll find the links to the podcast show. You'll find links to the YouTube channel and the Facebook page. Also, lots of great information on that site there, especially the free tutorials on business-related internet topics. And my favorite topic is free and almost free ways to advertise your business online. So please pass the word. Share the episode, tell others about the podcast show, YouTube channel, and Facebook page. Greatly appreciate that. Also, a quick legal disclaimer here. Products mentioned in this and other episodes of Tech Talk with Dan Harley could be paid as affiliate commission, promotional commission, or the liking by the product or service provider. In other words, I just might try to sell you something. And while I'm doing that, let's talk about our sponsor, which is Carbonite. Now, if you don't back your computer on an important data, you risk losing in a split second. Trust me, that's happened to me quite a few times. And your accounting files, your personal documents, your family pictures, and other important files can be lost in a split second. That's why you need something like Carbonite. Now, what Carbonite is a cloud backup service, and it's renowned for being extremely easy to use. Very easy to install, very easy to use, no technical skills needed, and backs up everything on computer automatically. And it also has high quality encryption. So if you are in a situation where you require HIPAA compliance or some type of legal compliance, where you need to make sure your data is absolutely secure and encrypted, there's a product that Carbonite has for that. So anyway, you have no worries, no hassles. Also, it's very affordable, less than 20 cents per day to back up and protect your computer. So we partnered with Carbonite. And which allows me to make this offer. You can try Carbonite out for free with this link at primeconcepts.net/link/Carbonite. That's primeconcepts.net/link/Carbonite. If you cannot find you don't remember the link, just go to primeconcepts.net. You will see the Carbonite link there. It'll give you a free trial with Carbonite. You can try to check out yourself, and you can find out how easy it is to use. Also, if you're having problems with your business, if you're spending too much money or time on a website, or internet advertising, you seem like it's not getting anywhere. Please give us a call. Our initial consultation is always free. And also, if you don't just plain don't understand what's going on, we'll be more than help you. Like I say, an initial consultation is always free. Many business owners take that information and get this shipped in the right direction and prosper from there. And we're very proud of that. And so our objective is to make sure small business owners and medium-sized business owners have the right information and so they make intelligent decisions on what they need to do online. So you can schedule a free appointment at 760-247-4814 or find more information at primeconcepts.net. All right, back to the episode topic, episode number 97, Practical SEO for Small Businesses. Let me a little story here. I had a client friend who just came on board with me a few weeks ago, and he started off with he wanted to do SEO and didn't quite know how to do that. And so he went and bought a bunch of domains thinking that's going to be kind of the stepping stone towards getting good SEO. And after he talked to me, he also already had a website, and it seemed to be pretty articulate with kind of maintaining himself. So basically, he just needs some traffic. So anyway, so I walked him through my tutorial I do with most all my clients about SEO, what they need to do, the different types of SEO and all that stuff. And he quickly understood what SEO is all about. He also, and what he needed to do and what he needed to order from outside, such as me, and the service he needed to fit his business. And every business is a little bit different, or a lot of different, depending on your client base and all that stuff. So anyway, I thought I would demonstrate essentially the same tutorial in this episode. So now the problem is, like I say, small business owners need to kind of master search engines in order to drive new customers to the business. Now, the problem is very complex technology. It constantly changes. And strategies that used to work, just a couple of years ago, just simply are really detrimental now. So anyway, the solution I'm going to show you is basically I take a change in format. I'm going to go desktop with you here to show you my desktop, kind of show you a few things I show my clients when regarding SEO. So I'll be back in just a split second when I go over there. All right, welcome back. Right now you're at my desktop. Actually, I'm sharing my browser with you so you can see kind of what I'm doing SEO-wise. And welcome to my desktop. I'm going to show the demonstration I do for most of my clients when we deal with we talk about SEO stuff. So now, for the sake of time, I kind of preloaded a few things so we can get this thing done a little bit faster. Usually it takes about an hour or so to go through all this. I'm hoping to get this done in about 10 or 15 minutes, so bear with me on that. If you want more details of all this, of course, you can call us up and ask for a free consultation, or you can get online with one of our online classes too. So we'll give you that information in a little bit here. So anyway, also I just kind of load this particular situation up. Plumber, Park City, Utah. I load up a certain customer in here, or a company. I don't know these folks, okay, and my apologies if I had violated anything. I just purely for educational purposes here. So anyway, let's talk about SEO and how a small business, a kind of brick and mortar business, can accomplish all this and win at it. All right. So basically, when it gets SEO, here's an example here. I'm talking plumber in Park City, Utah. It could be a dentist or whatever out here. But for example here, this is a good example. There's generally 3 reasons why a company would be listed in this search, okay, index in this search. First and foremost is almost always going to be the paid advertisement, which is up here, okay. The next is usually the local listings, okay, and then you have what's called the organic listings, all right. Now, three different reasons to be here and three different strategies. Now, my company, we're one of the few we're one of the few that deals with all three. Most SEO companies will deal one of the three and really don't really talk about the other two. So, so I think that's obvious. It makes my company, myself, a bit unique. We're doing this for quite a while here. So anyway, let's talk about the three and how these are how these affect you. Okay, first of all, the paid listings is the first, usually almost always the first you see here. By the way, on other searches such as Bing, it basically lays out about the same way. So paid listings is always going to be your first listings, and it's also, if everybody says, well, I want to be number one on the search engines, the only way you're going to do it is to pay for it. That's how Google's made their billions of dollars, and Bing's and likewise with Bing. So, and there's a certain strategy to work with this. Basically, a strategy for the paid listings is probably something obvious. You pay for it, but also it has a lot to do with influenced by budget, but also about website optimization as well as conversions. So, well, many people don't realize is a bad website would not be indexed as well in the paid listings as well as, let's say, a good website. You might pay, if you have a bad website, you might pay as much or more for a top listing and a search term than you would, let's say, if you have a better optimized website. So a lot of folks don't realize that. They think they have a website and they just throw money at it and all of a sudden pops up. It doesn't necessarily happen that way. So now let's go into local. And I want to get further into it. I have a service that deals with that. Now the local listings are generally hooked up with Google Maps. It's called Google Places. Bing has their Bing Local. There's quite a few other local directories out there. For the sake of the search engines, we're going to work with Google Places here. So how these listings are indexed is based on, first of all, proximity. If a person searching for, let's say, plumber in Park City, Utah, if they're closer to one of these companies over the other, that would influence the listing in here. Second of all is actually what is in these listings, and not necessarily doesn't. If you have a website, that's fine, but it's actually what is particularly in these particular listings here. So in fact, let's go here. I'm going to try to see if I can pull this up. We're going to use Jacobson Plumbing Heating here. We go back to them a little bit. Oh, we got the map here. Anyway, the information in the Google Places listing for this particular company is going to influence whether they get a better ranking over others. You can see here, from my observation here, they got a lot of reviews. Not necessarily good reviews, but a lot of reviews, and therefore they seem to tend to be rise to the top. See, the other folks are kind of floating in the bottom here. And this, by the way, too, Google is ultimately the folks who know exactly how this stuff happens. You might say, well, this company here has 3 reviews, and this company only has 2. How come this is lower than that one? Well, that's kind of what Google does. There's several different factors why Google would influence one over the other. So anyway, but this is essentially free traffic too. This costs nothing. You don't have to have a website or anything for it. We're going to get in that a little bit here too. Now, last but not least, we have the organic stuff. Okay, there's all this stuff down here. This is what most people think is SEO, search engine optimization, search engine marketing, is what's down here, and for good reason. This is what search engine had been. This is the bread and butter of all that. How a listing is influenced down here is based on the web page itself, and web page and content and backlinks. So the URL of the website is important. The title tags and all that stuff. In fact, we're going to go with that in a little bit. And also backlinks. There's information on the website that's very important, but almost about as important are backlinks to the site. And we're talking about how to get those too, and quality backlinks. So, and also here too, let me try to explain to how fast these things can propagate. If you want to get immediate results in the search engines, then the paying for it, the pay-per-click stuff is about as fast as you're going to get. In fact, overall in internet marketing, pay-per-click advertisement on search engines and other places, you get almost immediate results out of that, as opposed to these, say, indexing your local listing, and especially when you do organic stuff. By comparison, I can get my clients ranked very quickly within a couple days in this area here in pay-per-click. Where it could take a week to a month or 2 months or 3 months before these are influenced, okay? And could even take a month or 2 months or 3 months before a SEO or an organic listing is influenced. Again, we do all three, all right? So I want to talk about a couple services here. First of all, let's go into the organic listings first, and this particular company here. Again, I just kind of preloaded this. I don't know who these folks are. I just kind of brought them up as an example here. This is Merla Jacobson Plumbing Heating in Park City, Utah. And I wanted to kind of go back behind, show their source here, and kind of explain to you what I believe is why they have a very good listing here. In literally the top of this particular search term, plumber in Park City, Utah. So in looking in here, the primary factors are, first of all, is the URL, which is basically the domain name, but not necessarily domain name. It's also the entire URL here. Okay, but I can see here we have plumbing in here. Okay, now the next factor is what's called the title tag, which is here in this page. Okay, you can see here it says Park City. Herbert, Washington, Salt Lake City, plumbing contractor, all this stuff in here. Okay, so you can see here there's plumbing, Park City, plumbing. So you see this, Google kind of looked at, okay, this site looks like it has something to do with plumber in Park City, Utah. All right, and the next is also and I'll show you something else here. All these are relevant. Is the description tag, which is basically right here in the source code here. You see Merlin Jacobson plumbing, call for plumbing. So you got a lot of these little keywords in here. And then also, this is not as relevant anymore, but used to be this keyword content was to be a big thing. This is an older site, so this was relevant back then. And then after that is the page content, header tags and stuff like that, which will go back to the site itself. We have Park City here, plumbing, master plumber, service contract, and there's a bunch of things here and there. And now this site isn't exactly, it's a little bit older, obvious. From my perspective, it's an older site, and it's probably not optimized to current standards. But also, it's a few things I see here too. It's an older site, so it's kind of grandfathered in, and there's not much competition here. So back to why, and let me show you. So you can see all these things here is a factor, plus having backlinks to it, and we'll get back to a little bit here. But I want to show you something here: the significance of the URL, the title tag, and the description, which is here. And when you do the search terms, because there's also is what you see right here. There's a URL right there. There is the title tag, okay, which you see here. Merlin, blah, 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 blah. Description right here. I'm sorry. And you see the description here too. Merlin Jacobson Plumbing, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So, so you can see here how all these little elements are relevant in when you're doing organic SEO, or actually SEO in general, but organic SEO. So that's generally want to explain that out to folks. They kind of better understand why. Especially my friend who bought a bunch of domains. he understood why just a domain was not enough. He really had to have good content and properly optimized content, as they call it. So anyway, also let's talk about their local listing. You can see here they got a top local listing. Now I went ahead and ran a report. That's a free report on primeconcepts.net, a local listing report. Once again, I don't know these folks. I just kind of use them as an example. So anyway, this report kind of tells me what's going on with their local listings across the board on the internet. So I can see here they ran all the visibility report at 54%. This tells me here, and also the Google local, they seem to have on pretty much on top of it. They've been staying on top of it. Got a bunch of reviews, some photos, some different categories. So they got a really good, well-managed local listing, Google Places listing, which I believe is probably why they're getting top ranking here. Okay, as opposed to the other folks who are probably not on top of their rankings, on top of their listings as they probably should be. So here's something interesting about this. The local listings here, and most people don't realize, is you don't necessarily have to have a website to have your local listing. This is all free stuff. So a lot of companies, a lot of businesses, even though they might have a great website, they do a lot to manage it. They do a fantastic job with updating and stuff like that, but they completely ignore their local listings. And that is a huge detriment, especially if they're doing SEO stuff, because these listings here, there's also, when I talk about backlinks, and by the way, let me explain what backlinks are. Backlinks are basically a link outside your website back to your website. That's called backlinks. And you want really, and the more backlinks you have, and Google kind of searches all over the internet looking for a variety of things, but they see these backlinks back to your site. They say, that's basically telling Google, hey, this site has something is more important because of whatever this backlink is. So it gives you a little bit extra bump. So and now you want really good quality backlinks. What a better quality backlinks than if you have your local pages, your business directories all up to date. So you can see here. In fact, let me go down through here. Here's a bunch of these local business directories out there. The ones that are really relevant are these three, Google, Bing, and Yelp. But there's a bunch of these others out here that they're could draw some traffic, free traffic, okay, but also provide good quality backlinks to a website. So you can see here, these folks here didn't quite. They got some of the important ones done, looks like, okay, but they're missing out a bunch of these other ones here that they don't realize that. That their listings either not there or incorrect. So by simply going through these are in re-indexing or indexing his business, all this stuff, you can get 50, 60 backlinks to his website. By comparison to his competition that probably doesn't do this at all. So I see that a lot where most businesses don't know about this or don't do anything about it and really throw away free traffic. So anyway, that is the baseline report on the local listings. And like I say, the local listings are very simple to do. Then go back to it. You just basically take over your listing, you don't have it yet, and update it. Keep it managed. Make sure the phone numbers are correct. Add some pictures, add some content. In fact, Google Places goes pretty elaborate to the point you probably don't even need a website. They have a lot of stuff in the Google provides for a business, that such as coupons and all kinds of stuff in there that it itself is pretty impressive online presence for a company. So, and it's free. So keep that in mind. Now I'm going to change formats here and get into a company system called Reach Local, which handles this part here, the pay-per-click advertisement. Okay, so give me just a little bit. I'm going to swap modes and I'll be right back to you. Okay, we're back here. Now I mentioned about the Reach Local service I have here. Let me kind of explain this out a little bit more thorough and explain to you what you're seeing here. First of all, I've been a partner with Reach Local for many, many years, about 10 or 15 years, quite a long time. I was one of the first internet marketing partners. And they provide many, many services, but the one I use the most, and the one that's I think is probably their flagship, the crown jewel of what they offer, is they manage pay-per-click search engine marketing campaigns on Google, Yahoo, Bing, Super Pages, and several other places, several other locations too. They have a patented optimization system that this patent, nobody else has this. What they do, they have what's called response-based optimization. What this means is they optimize their campaigns based on phone calls and emails and actions on their on a client's on a website, as opposed to just simply traffic, which what other services would do. What this does, it makes their optimized campaigns, extremely laser accurate. They don't drive a lot of traffic to a website, but they drive very targeted traffic, which is what you want when you do pay-per-click. Paying for traffic, you want people to respond to it immediately instead of just bouncing off going someplace else. So that is something that is unique to Reach Local and has benefited many of my clients. Now, what you're seeing here, by the way, I have a non-disclosure agreement with all my clients immediately upon our beginning of relationship. However, with this particular client here, they give me permission to give them to demonstrate their data, and also they've kind of moved on. The company, the folks here, they've retired out and sold the property to a church. So anyway, so I explain further here. This company used to be what I called a wedding factory. They're in Southern California. They have a immaculate facility where essentially they run what they do, weddings and banquets, and did a lot of them for many, many years. They are able to run 3 weddings at one time. They run up to 8 receptions at one time. And they do this, obviously, all day Saturday. They've been expanded. They got so busy, they even expanded to Sundays, even weekdays. And also they also provide receptions, reception halls for other uses too. So very impressive a very unique situation. And a very impressive business. Now, how I got involved with them is they're like most of my other clients that they're trudging along. They do traditional marketing. They had did traditional advertising on the phone books and in the newspapers and TV and radio and in industry advertisement, so on and so forth. They had a website. It was kind of horky looking. Didn't do a whole lot. They asked me if I can get involved, so we did a consultation, and we figured out that the game plan we had here, we're going to start rebuilding the website, and we need to have to make sure it's in a certain type of essence, because they needed to impress brides, and in the same time here, we need to start getting traffic, getting phone calls made. So what we did, we took the existing website, made some important changes. We put phone numbers everywhere, and we started running Reach Local campaign pretty much right away. At the same time, we started rebuilding the page website, which would take a couple months. But what this would do here is, as the Reach Local campaign was maturing, it would mature, optimize just right at the same time as the new website would be launched. So the end result here is they get the Reach Local. This, what I did for them, turned out to be about 90% of the marketing eventually. They stopped doing radio, stopped doing TV, stopped doing newspapers, and they basically did Reach Local. And we did other SEO as well, but predominantly it was mostly Reach Local. And now what you're seeing here is one of their campaigns. Again, they've been closed for a few years. The owners had basically retired, and sold the property to a church, because it basically was a church before, now it's church again. So you're seeing one of their campaigns here. There's Edgewater Gardens from January to February 2013. Really minor budget, $300 for a month. Okay, you see the number of impressions. The impressions are number of times their advertisement has rotated into Google, Yahoo, Bing, or whatever. Number of visits from these impressions. Number of phone calls. This, like I said, this is a unique situation where they're actually able to track phone calls from this type of advertisement. Emails, also web events. So you can, in fact, you can see here on the day-to-day what's happening in the dailies here. Number of calls. Lots of, and also I want to mention here too that Reach Local generates lots of really good data. So we can find out, and the more data you have, the better off you are in trying to do better SEO. And in fact, I'll show you another report here that gives us, in fact, I'll go through here. We even get down to the phone calls. I'm not going to click on there because we really get down to showing the actual phone person who called and a recording of the other call. So that's how much data this thing generates. Something is important in SEO, and we're going to tell you how this kind of flows over into doing organic SEO here. Is we're actually able to track the search terms that we're using. Now, what Reach Local does here in their pay-per-clicks, they actually do this for hundreds of thousands of small businesses for many years. So they already have basically a template for just about any small business out there. So they know the search terms that work and don't work in general. Okay, but you really don't know what's really going to hit until you really get some data flow in, some traffic. So they have this campaign status report here that's just tells you a lot about the website, the campaign itself, and things that that we need as SEO experts, web designers, whatever, to better optimize a page, website. You see click-through rates, click to call. Okay, you can see here about 5%. If this click to call ratio here is, let's say, lower, that means there's something wrong with the website where we had to modify it so people would go from visiting to calling faster. All right. Its page position, so on and so forth, daily budget, all this stuff here is very important data. Probably the really most important data is search terms. Now, Reach Local would have literally compile hundreds of search terms for each client, bid them all out, and optimize accordingly. Okay, if you get traffic on certain traffic, clicks, and phone calls and certain search terms, they would put influence on those, and those that and other search terms that don't seem to be as relevant, don't seem to get as much attraction, drop them off the list. So that data they compile, which is very important here. Okay, now when we talked about organic search, doing organic SEO, keep in mind that that campaign strategy takes much longer. So you want to, you want to really focus on the good search terms before you start putting all that effort into it. You might be putting 2-3 months worth of effort into a search term that's irrelevant. Okay. Fortunately, with Reach Local, what you see here, we have actual data of search terms being bid on, clicked on, so on and so forth, where we don't have to guess at it. We know specifically, for instance, wedding venues in San Bernardino or Edgewater Gardens. Obviously, that's their company. But you see, that's a lot of impressions, a lot of clicks. Wedding Fontana. We go down through here. You see, well, you can see here. You can see the so you can see here, just picking off the top 5 or 10. We can build landing pages. We can build whole websites off of just these terms here, because we know there's traffic coming to it. We know these things are generating stuff, and on top of that, we already have pay-per-click advertising going into this. So, if we are able to, let's say hypothetically, build a really optimized page for wedding venues in San Bernardino, now we get that real optimized as well. We'll have one link for this for doing on the organic listing, plus a link on the paid listing. So we'll have 2 links for this particular search term right off by using Reach Local. We can also go into Yahoo, what's over there too, because these have different, you can see it, no more impressions. You can see different searches. Okay, you can see here banquet halls, banquets. A different search engine has different would have different priorities or different focus. So you can see here, we can see Wedding San Bernardino and some of these other ones here. So anyway, we got lots and lots of data. That's why I show you here when we do Reach Local that this is the data have is phenomenal, and this whole system is phenomenal. What's awesome about this whole thing here is let's go back to the campaign activity report. Keep in mind this particular client here, they sell weddings. So one wedding's $5,000 hypothetical or $10,000. So they get one call, one confirmed call, one sale to basically pay for the campaign and Reach Local campaign for an entire year. So it'd be prudent if you have a higher ticket item. But I also have clients that do this with lower ticket items. I have one client who is a basically she's a mobile notary, and her budget is all $100 a month, and she has no website. All she does is this, and she's able to go cash positive. She's able to get plenty of phone calls from Reach Local. And the beauty of this here is she goes on vacation. She travels with her husband. She can shut this down, go to her thing, come back, and turn it back on again. So, and now with the Reach Local campaign here, you can see the number of calls, 69 compared to 300 here. So, the cost per call for them is reasonable, very reasonable. Okay, and I got clients here that their cost per calls it would vary between client to client and the competition, so on and so forth. But this whole thing, everything Reach Local does, it has so much information, and it's so spontaneous that this is one of the services I recommend to most of my clients when they come to me from the get-go, and because of all this. So I'm hoping you see that from your end over here. So anyway, so that's about it with Reach Local. I'm going to go back to desktop and kind of wrap this up a little bit and how all this kind of rolls together. Okay, so be right back to you. Okay, we're back here. Now we're going to go back and kind of wrap up the three different type of SEO strategies, as well as kind of define the services that my company usually provides. Okay, and the local listing and the paid listings here. What I usually do is, like I say, this is the fastest way to get. First of all, if you want to be number one ranking, you got to pay for it. So you want to be able to do it right. You can go through Google AdWords situation and do it manually. And some of my clients that do that, if they're, let's say, if they're have like a nationwide kind of if their business is not a brick and mortar, then we have a completely different strategy for that. But what I usually do, if you're a brick and mortar business, if you're a small medium-sized business in a geographical area, then I usually recommend doing a Reach Local campaign, where we can get you pretty much immediately in the search engines. We can get you optimized, the campaign optimized very well, so you start generating phone calls at a reasonable rate. And also we get a lot of data back from all that, so we can start working on the organic campaign. All right. Also, this is very important too, and depending on the client, this that might be all they need to do is a local listing. And with this, I recommend that my clients go through the free online local listing report. You have a report like this. It's at localadmin.primeconcepts.net, and we'll have the links are already in the website. You can do this for free and see what's going on here. You can if you want, you can go through there and modify these listings yourself, or I have a service that takes care of it for you. All right. The beauty of all this here, some of my clients here, they don't this is all they need. Really, they deal with the local listings, make sure it's maintained, make sure it's updated, make sure it's managed, and brings in plenty of business for them. And they don't need to do anything more. They don't need to even have a website. So, and on top of that, if they want to go further, this provides that. Let's say if they want to go high hog and really do well in the organic listings or SEO in general, then they definitely have to master this, which is, like I say, it's relatively easy to do. It's a lot of work, but it is kind of repetitious work, or you can hand it to a professional like us to deal with it. And again, the organic listings here, there's many ways to handle this. A lot of it is to building. You have a good website foundation, and we build good quality content. We make sure the content is focused on certain search terms, which we want to make sure we get the right search terms instead of just spinning on wheels. And that's the reason why we want to preferred, if we can, run something like Reach Local or do some some search engine research, search engine keyword research, and so we find the search terms we want to target at. And with that, we'll build up videos, we'll build up the web pages and content that will focus on target those search terms and get good ranking here. So now it is possible to be ranked in all three, and many of the clients, we do that. We make sure we basically do what called search engine domination, where we have a paid listing, we have a local listing, and we have one or several organic listings. And all these are kind of, if you go through what we just went through in this episode here, all these services kind of mesh together. Reach Local campaign generates the immediate traffic, gives us the data we need to work on the organic listings. The local listings, that's something we almost immediately take care of right away. And with that, once we are indexed with all these other online business directories, that gives us those backlinks we need, those valuable backlinks we need to get better ranking in organic listings. So that's all this stuff's all relevant. Now, so anyway, I know this might be a little bit. It is complicated. I'm hoping to break it down enough for you folks out there to understand this. And now the value of all this, if you do this right, first of all, internet marketing in general is pound for pound, dollar for dollar is cheaper than doing traditional advertisement. Okay, this stuff here, yes, you could. Adding all these campaigns together, I'm not sure how much it costs for each individual person, each business, because it varies between business to business. But for the most part, this would be probably cheaper than doing a. I think the last time I looked at doing a radio advertisement, it cost me almost $2,000 for a month. I can do a lot for that and doing SEO stuff. Okay, that's a lot of room to work with a lot of small businesses out there. So anyway, so pound for pound, dollar for dollar is cheaper to doing this stuff. The challenge most people have is because it's so complicated that they don't try it. So, and I'm hoping that this video would help you folks out to better understand what's going on and take a shot at it at the least. And you'll be impressed with, for instance, with my client at Edgewater Gardens. It turned out to be, I was 90% of the marketing. He dropped everything else but just did SEO. And that generated them many hundreds of $1,000s worth of business over many years. So I'm proud of that. And that's not all only clients that do that. That's the norm. So anyway, I'm going to go back to my studio and finish up this episode there. So hang on just a little bit. Okay, we're back in the studio here, and basically I want to kind of wrap it up a little bit here. So let's talk about what does SEO mean for your business, what it will do for you. It depends on which one would work for your business. All right, that would actually depend on your business. It would depend on your location. It depend on your competitors. And for the most part, you might not need to do everything I just showed you in this episode here. You might need to do one or two or one or the other. But the key thing is really to better understand your business and your competition, all that stuff, to see what would fit. So that in mind, what I want to offer you folks who stuck it out here for this long and gone through this whole tutorial here is I want to give you guys obviously free initial consultation is free if you want to venture into this. Also, I'll give you some free offers here for services. One thing is a Reach Local campaign. I will waive the setup fee, so basically you'll pay strictly what it costs for a campaign, and we'll explain that more when in the consultation. That essentially is about a $500 savings rate there right off, and also give you some discounts on the local listing service, so on and so forth too. And we'll discuss it in the consultation. All you need to do is mention that you've seen this video, this episode, and we'll make all that stuff happen for you. Ultimately, what I want to do with all my clients is we want to make you successful. We want to make the phone ring, make people come to your door, make you more money. We're not here just to build websites, not here just to get you SEO. We're here to make your business successful. And that's what makes Prime Concepts different from other companies that do what we do. So anyway, you can call us up for the consultation at 760-247-4814, or send an email to info@primeconcept.net, or visit primeconcept.net, fill out the forms and all the stuff, and go from there. So anyway, in conclusion, yes, SEO can be very complicated, but done right, you can completely control a market. You can drive a lot of business to a lot of new customers to your business, or in ways you never able to do anyway else. Done wrong, you'd spend a lot of money and spinning your reels and going the wrong direction. So I'm hoping that this episode, what we're showing here, would show you how things are done that way. So anyway, so that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching and listening, and good luck and Godspeed to your online success.